Hi guys, so today's video is going to be a little bit of a sneak peek at some of the monster art that is going to be in Peace and Turmoil. Before getting into the artwork itself, I also want to kind of touch on what the monsters are like in the world and describe a little bit of that. So the monsters in Peace and Turmoil are called Fiends, and they are somewhat like animals in that they just exist in the wild, but the difference between fiends and regular animals is that fiends have the ability to use the same magic that humans can use. There are different kinds of fiends, there are different species of fiends. There are some that people know very little about, there are some that people know a lot about, there are some that are really rare, there are some that are more common. And although fiends have the ability to use magic, it's not like every single fiend can use every form of magic. Some seem to have more abilities than others. Unlike humans, some fiends have the ability to absorb magic, and so often humans will find those specific fiends and they'll use their scales or their fur or things like that as element resistant, magic resistant clothing, magic resistant armor. Fiends are not so prevalent in the world that they're a huge issue. It's not like you walk outside and there's monsters everywhere. They're kind of like bears or wolves or things of that sort where you will encounter them possibly in the wild, so it's good to be prepared, but it's not like the world is in fear constantly of being attacked by fiends. They are still a relatively significant part of the world though, given that because some of their scales or furs or things like that have certain abilities that can be sold or used by soldiers or things like that. It does affect economies, it affects certain trade systems. Some countries have more access than others or more knowledge than others when it comes to fiends, so they're still a pretty significant part of the book. And not to mention, monster art is always awesome, at least in my opinion. I absolutely love looking at really interesting creations that people have for fantastical creatures. I just think it's so cool, and so I really wanted to take this part of my book and try to have some form of artwork to represent it. I have done all of the character art for the book myself, but I am not good when it comes to drawing anything else, and so I decided that I wanted to commission somebody to do the monster art, but I had no idea who I was going to ask, and one day I just happened to find this awesome piece of artwork on Instagram by the artist Miss Madsy. I'll have her Instagram linked down below, and I thought, oh my gosh, this girl's art is so cool. This is exactly the kind of art that I would want. I want it to be slightly different than my art, and I want it to be really creative and really different. So I contacted her, and she's the most amazing artist. She was so nice and so pleasant to work with. There is going to be 7 pieces of artwork for the Fiend monster art total. I'm going to share 4 of those pieces with you guys today. And the way we went about it is I would describe to her what I wanted the creatures to look like. I had an idea in my mind for all the various 7 pieces of art that she was going to be doing, and so I would describe them to her, and I don't know how she managed to take my descriptions and make them into the pieces of art that she did. The way that the monster art is going to be incorporated into the book is that before every single chapter in the book, there is some form of an extra. Sometimes these extras are journal entries, sometimes they're excerpts from letters between various characters, sometimes they're character art, and sometimes they're monster art, and when they are, it's supposed to be an excerpt from this anthology called Fire and Fiends. The extras before every chapter always pertain to what's going to be going on in the upcoming chapters, so whenever you see a piece of monster art, it's probably going to be a fiend in the upcoming chapter. I'll go ahead and give you guys the sneak peek now of 4 of the pieces of monster art that my artist did, so without further ado, here are those. that's it for the monster art and information about Fiends. I do have an entire video dedicated to the magic system if you guys are interested in hearing a little bit more about that. And if you want more behind the scenes videos about Peace and Turmoil, I have a whole playlist of those, so I'll have that linked down below. At the time that this is being filmed, I do still have the giveaway going on social media where you can share some kind of a picture or some kind of post on Twitter or Instagram and have the hashtag Peace and Turmoil, and just by having that, directing people my book's way, you are automatically entered into a giveaway where you can possibly win $25 worth of books. All of the monster art that I shared in this video will be on the Instagram page of pictures that you guys can choose to share if you don't want to come up with your own pictures. So if you want to enter that giveaway, you can share any of the monster art or any of the other pictures on that Instagram page, and that's it. As always, thank you so much for watching. Happy reading, and I'll see you all later. Bye.